There it is. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Corpus Christi. My name is Ren Aldrich. My pronouns are they, them, and I am thrilled to be your worship associate this morning. Whether this is your first time here or you've been coming for years, or even if you're with us online, we unconditionally welcome you as your full, authentic self. We gather here today with intention to remember our values of interdependence, equity, transformation, pluralism, generosity, and justice, with love at the center. We often fall short of these ideals, but we continually grow as spiritual and moral beings. To that end, we recite a covenant each week, which is not a creed, but a promise we make to one another. We have several announcements today. Starting with, you may have noticed, our projector's not working. So it's not an oversight, it's just not working. We will get it fixed as soon as possible and hopefully have it ready for next week. Our live stream is still working, so hello to everybody online. It's just the projector. Pumpkin Patch. I am also, switching hats, your Pumpkin Patch coordinator for this year, along with Nick Gilby. It's been going great. Our total so far, I wrote down and then didn't have it up, that the church gets to keep, we have made $320 so far. So not bad at all. Thank you all for everybody who's been working shifts. I know we've had a little bit of trouble filling them, but I really appreciate every hour that y'all put into this. It really makes a difference for our church. That's just in 1 week, $320, not bad. The patch is open from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day through Halloween. So come by, get your pumpkins, tell your family, tell your friends, come get your pumpkins from us. We're here every day. There's lots of open shifts. If you are willing to work shifts, please see me or Nick. There's QR codes to scan to sign up on the doors, the glass doors in the foyer. Or you can just see me or Nick. We're happy to help you get signed up for shifts. What else? I printed some more flyers. There's flyers if you have any bulletin boards you know of at work, at restaurants you go to. Please take some, post them up around town. We don't want to quit advertising just because it's already started. So keep people coming. That's all I have for Pumpkin Patch. Next up, I have Christy.
We are collecting pledges right as we go along. We're up past 54,920. So we've reached the halfway point. Keep getting your pledges in. All right.
And last but not least, Debbie. Not last either.
But least. I just want to mention, if you haven't noticed it on the Facebook and the e-blast, that Scott and I are hosting a Friendsgiving for the entire church. Everyone's invited. We're going to have an RSVP and a sign up for what you're going to bring because it's a potluck thing. November 15th, save the date.
Now last and also not least, Kirk.
There's a lot going on. If the pledge drive and the pumpkin patch and the Friendsgiving wasn't enough, a week from yesterday, next Saturday, we're going to be having the rummage sale. After the service today, we're going to be moving the chairs to the side of the sanctuary. If you have anything to donate, there will be people here all week working the pumpkin patch, so the church will be open pretty much all day. Please bring your stuff, and we'll sort it. If there's nobody here, we'll probably set aside an area just to dump it, and then during the week we'll be sort of organizing things. If you need help moving something, I have a small pickup truck, and I can come to you to get stuff if that will help facilitate stuff. So again, a week from today, and also we'll need some help running it. Next week, it'll be from 9 until noon. We may start a little earlier, we may go a little bit later, but that's sort of the rough time we're going to be doing it. Do you have a question, Kelly? If we have clothing, is there going to be something? Yeah, we're we're going to try to sell whatever we get, and what will happen if it doesn't sell, the bulk pickup is about a week after the rummage sale. So we're just going to take it out to the sidewalk at some point, and I doubt if it'll make it to the bulk pickup, because usually people come and get it before that. So yeah, just bring whatever you have. We'll try to sell it, and if we don't, it'll go away one way or the other. So this is a great opportunity to get rid of stuff you don't want, and also help the church. So anyway, thank you. Yeah, week next Saturday. Bring stuff all week. Call me if you need help. Bye-bye.
All right. That question, by the way, was do we take clothing? We will have places to hang clothes, so bring your clothes. Okay, that's all for announcements. It is our custom in this church to offer visitors and newcomers a chance to introduce themselves if they feel comfortable doing so. If it's your first time here, or if you just feel ready to say hello after coming for a while, we invite you to stand as you're able or raise your hand, and Tess will bring the microphone to you so you can tell us your name and where you're from. Are there any visitors or newcomers who would like to introduce themselves today? Okay, that's okay. We're glad you're here. Feel free to join us after the service for coffee and conversation in the foyer. Our service will now begin. Our opening words this morning come in the form of a poem by Arlen Goff called Thresholds. We cross them every day, from room to room, from outside to inside and back again, from here to there, from anywhere to everywhere, from age to age. Each threshold offers an opportunity for change, for renewal, for transformation, from what we were and what we are to what we can be. In this hour and in this place, we cross a threshold from our day-to-day everydayness into space and time attuned to the other, to the sacred, to the holy, into an awareness of new life, pregnant with possibilities. How will we be renewed in this moment? How will we be changed by this hour? How will we be transformed through this gathering of beloved community? Come, you longing, thirsty souls. Come, let us worship together. I would like to invite Magonda to come and light our chalice while I share these words from Lee Kinvey. This chalice is for the living, the changing, the becoming. This chalice is for losing the script of life, the chapters about who you are in other people's stories. This chalice is for the lost GPS that was supposed to show you how to get where they expected you to go. This chalice is for skipping the directions, coloring outside the lines, painting not by number, but by silence, by wild abandon, with a brush you made yourself, from light deep inside, startling, vivid, a new voice that already knows you. Finally, a true story. Please rise and body your spirit for the affirmation of our church covenant, which won't be projected but is in your order of service. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with all we hold sacred. You may now be seated.
If you knew that you would die today, if you saw the face of God and love, would you change? Would you change? If you knew that love can break your heart when you're down so low you cannot fall, would you change? Would you change? How bad, how good does it need to get? How many losses, how much regret? What chain reaction would cause an effect? Makes you turn around, makes you try to explain, makes you forgive and forget, makes you change, makes you change. If you knew that you would be alone, knowing right, being wrong, would you change? Would you change? If you knew that you would find a truth that brings up pain that can't be soothed, would you change? Would you change? How bad, how good does it need to get? How many losses, how much regret? What chain reaction would cause an effect? Makes you turn around, makes you try to explain, makes you forgive and forget, makes you change, makes you change. Are you so upright you can't be bent if it comes to blows? Are you so sure you won't be crawling? If not for the good, why risk falling? Why risk falling? If everything you think you know makes your life unbearable, would you change? Would you change? If you'd broken every rule and hard times come to bring you down, would you change? Would you change? If you knew that you would die today, if you saw the face of God and love, would you change? Would you change? Would you change? Would you change?
Good morning, all. I'm Tess Cherry, your religious exploration coordinator here at U2C3. Usually I would be reading a story, but we're going to practice something else. It's very cool. YouTube is going to read us the story, and you get to close your eyes and imagine what your story is going to look like. Okay? All right. Are you ready? Yeah. Let's go, Nick.
Maybe Something Beautiful, How Art Transformed a Neighborhood. F. Isabel Campoy and Teresa Howe. Illustrated by Rafael Lopez. In the heart of a gray city, there lived a girl who loved to doodle, draw, color, and paint. Every time she saw a blank piece of paper, Mira thought to herself, maybe. And because of this, her room was filled with color, and her heart was filled with joy. On her way to school one day, Mira gave a round apple to Mr. Henry, the owner of the shop down the street. She gave a flower to Miss Lopez, the lady with the sparkling eyes. She gave a songbird to Mr. Sachs, and a red heart to the policeman who walked up and down the streets. On her way home, Mira taped a glowing sun onto the wall hiding in the shadows. Her city was less gray, but not much. The next day, Mira saw a man with a pocket full of paintbrushes. He gazed at the wall. He looked at her son. He held his fingers up in a square and peered through them. He said thoughtfully. What do you see? Mira asked. Maybe something beautiful, the man replied. Then, just like that, he dipped a brush in the paint. Bam! Pow! The shadows scurried away. Sky blue cut through the gloom. The man's laughter was like a rainbow spreading across the sky. Who are you? Mira asked. I'm an artist, he said. A muralist. I paint on walls. I'm an artist too, she told him. He handed Mira a brush. Then come on. Mira dipped it in the loudest color she saw. Yow-wee! The wall lit up like sunshine. As the man drew pictures on the bricks, Mira added color, punch, and pizzazz. Soon Mr. Sachs joined in. Then came others. Everyone painted to the rhythm. Salsa, merengue, bebop. Even Mira's mama painted and danced the cha-cha-cha. The whole neighborhood became a giant block party. Until the policeman walked up. Excuse me, he said. The music stopped. Mira put her brush down. They were surely in trouble. The officer cleared his throat, then paused. May I paint with you? He asked. So Mira handed him a paintbrush, and the music started again. Teachers and papas jumped in. Babies, too. Mira and the man handed out brush after brush. Color spread throughout the streets. So did joy. Wherever Mira and the man went, art followed like the string of a kite. After they colored the walls, they painted utility boxes and benches. They decorated sidewalks with poetry and shine, and everyone danced. Together, they created something more beautiful than they had ever imagined. When their clothes were splattered with a million colors, everyone sat down to rest, except the muralist. His eyes sparkled. "You, my friends, are all artists," he told them. "The world is your canvas." He smiled wide, then pulled everything together in big, sweeping motions. His paintbrush was like a magic wand. When he was finished, Mira added one more bird, way up in the sky. Maybe, she thought, just maybe.
I could see a lot of imagination happening. I love it. I would like to invite the young and young at heart to join me in our reading.
After our meditation reading and time of silence, when the music begins, all who would like to are invited to come up the middle aisle to the chalice table and light a candle representing a joy or sorrow you may be holding in your heart today. If you're with us online today, you are welcome to share your joys and sorrows by using the chat feature. Our meditation is written by Michelle LaGrave. We, you and I, are in between right now. In between what was and what will be. In between who we were and who we will become. In between letting go and embracing. In between saying hello and saying goodbye. In betweenness, it's a thing. In betweenness is a time of fullness, a time of anticipation, a time of hope, a time of worry, a time of sadness. In betweenness is a time of waiting. Waiting for news, waiting for departure, waiting for arrival, waiting for death, waiting for life. In betweenness is a time of transformation, a time of reflection, a time of action, a time of growing, a time of becoming. During this time of in-betweenness, of knowing and not knowing, let us enter into the silence together. was beautiful, Jim. Thank you. Our speaker today is Michael Pudge Aradillas. Pudge is a radio talk show host who has worked in media for over 35 years. He is a dad, a grandfather, and currently owns KSIX 1230 AM 95.1 FM Sports Radio, Corpus Christi. Please welcome Pudge.
Thanks. Well, good morning. And thank you so much for allowing me to come hang out with you all today for a little bit. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Michael Aradillas. Believe it or not, on my birth certificate it does not say Pudge. That was kind of an interesting thing that happened. As a little fella, I had two sides of my family. I had half my family that called me Boo Boo because I look like Yogi's little buddy, you know. And then I had half a family that they call me Pudge. And I don't care how cool you are, but when you're doing radio and you play rock and roll music, okay, there you go. Thanks. When you play some rock and roll music, you know, you can say, hey, that was Led Zeppelin, and, you know, coming up, don't forget we're going to be doing this and doing that, and coming up next, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, and I'm Boo Boo. You lose cool points, like, just real quick. So Pudge it was. It says here, a life of adapting, adjusting, and reading the room, which is what I'm literally doing right now. I'm reading the room. Standing in front of you is the shell of a man who just 2 months ago, I was, just all fire and brimstone. In fact, when I was asked by Nick and Ren to come speak with you all today, it was several months ago. And I was like, absolutely. And then, as life does, I got it handed to me big time. While everybody was enjoying their Labor Day weekend, I got a call from my doctor. Said, hey, how you feeling? I said, I'm feeling okay. You know, I'm struggling a little bit with my breathing, but I'm okay. All right, that's good, Pudge, because here's what I want you to do. I need for you right now to get in your car and go straight to the emergency room. They're waiting for you. I've informed them that you're on your way because you have congested heart failure. I was like, oh, okay, well, that kind of changed my weekend plans, right? And then, so I went to the emergency room, and then when they did that, they said, hey, well, now we know why you have congested heart failure. I was like, really? Why do I have congested heart failure? They said, well, because you have chronic kidney disease. Wait, what? It's like, hold it. They go, well, yeah, you know, your kidneys run at like 100%. Yeah. Well, yours are at 5%. Oh. Yeah, we're not quite sure you're making it out of here, sir, this weekend. Oh, okay, because I had plans. You know, it's a 3-day weekend. You know, I here's the thing. Let me give you a little backstory, okay? As a little fellow, when the teachers will go up to you and they'll ask you, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know, no, I want to be a cowboy. I want to be a policeman. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a nurse. Then they'd come up to me and they go, hey, Michael, what do you want to be? And I was like, well, I want to be the guy inside that radio. And they're, what? And I go, yeah, because that fascinated me. There was a guy inside the radio that would talk to me. And I want to be like him. So I'm actually one of these few people that I grew up to do what it was I wanted to do when I grew up. I mean, at the age of 7, I knew exactly what I wanted to be. And to actually grow up to be able to do it, it's pretty amazing. But it was a challenge. I didn't know it was going to be hard. You know, when you're 7, it's just like, okay, I'll climb in that box right there and I'll just And so my dad gave me a little tape recorder with a microphone, and Santa Claus brought me my first record player. So I would pretend like I was the guy in the box, and I would get the microphone and I would play a record, and I would hold the microphone to the speaker, and I'd introduce the record, and then when the record was over, I'd talk in the microphone. So my mother, she, I'm just remembering this, for years, she had a cassette of me in my handwriting at the age of 7, and it was radio station Mike. You know? And so I came by it honest at a very young age. And then as I got older, and I in high school, we all go through the awkward years. I wasn't cool enough to be invited to the parties, except that it was discovered that I had a lot of music. And you can't throw a good party unless you got good music. I mean, hello, right? And so, hey, Pudge, why don't you come to the party? Hey, thanks, but yeah, bring your music. Oh, okay. And so, so I did. So I became known as the guy I was the one who provided the music. And so it's kind of funny when my family, as I was sharing with them the ailment that I was just diagnosed with, I had a cousin, God bless him, he calls me on the phone, and he says, "Cousin Michael, are you okay?" And I said, "Well, no, no, I'm not." And he says, "Well, you can't die." And I go, "Well, I don't want to die." He goes, No. He says, "Because you have to make the music for my funeral." And I'm like, well, by golly, I'll come through for you, Abel. I hope I do. And so, as I said, as I led off, I'm a shell of a man of what I'm surprised I'm even here right now. My mother would be happy that I'm wearing pants. I know my girlfriend. No, my mother. I was raised Catholic. And my mother would let me. I played CYO football, so my mother would let me go to mass wearing my football uniform because the game was right after mass. With my cleats. So right now, my mother passed away in 2007, and that was probably the moment. If I was to put a moment for this whole what we're talking about this morning, that's the moment. In 2007 is when she passed. That was the now I get it moment. And everything for me changed at that time. I got into radio in 1989, a long time ago. I've been here in Corpus for off and on over a quarter of a century now. I chose to come here. My radio career has been one where, when you go to a concert and you buy a tour shirt, a T-shirt, and on the back it'll show you all the cities that they've been to. Okay, well, my shirt would be like every city in Texas. Lubbock, Uvalde, San Antonio, Austin, Houston, the Valley, Corpus, all over the place. And it was me fulfilling my dream. And that was, I wanted to be that guy in the box. And so to accomplish that, woo, what a ride, what a journey. Because I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but I'm Mexican. I know, right? Here's what happened. The most recent one, as Ren said, I own a radio station, KSIX, Corpus Christi. That station's been around since 1947. It's one of the oldest stations here in town. The gentleman who used to own KSIX in the 50s, he's the one who founded this radio station. I found a picture in a file cabinet of the board of directors, and it looked a lot like this room. Very white, with ties, and I could tell some of them, man, they're spinning in their graves right now, because they're like, how the hell did this happen? Because here's what happened. I was on the radio here in town at a different radio station, and there was a guy on KSIX that was a radio talk show host. And in today's climate, we have the people on the left and we have the people on the right. Correct? I mean, we saw that yesterday, right? My arms are still tired from yesterday from waving at all the people downtown. Well, the guy that was on the station, he was on the right. Way over there. Like outside of this building right. He was beyond right. Even the people that are on Fox News were like, man, this guy's to the right. I mean, they couldn't even believe how right he was in the grand scheme of things. Well, he went a little too far. And the owner of the station at that time called me up and said, hey, would you like to come work on my station? I said, you realize that I'm over here on the left, right? He's like, yeah. I want you to just be you, Pudge. I was like, okay. So I went on the air that first day. They didn't tell anybody that was going to happen, that they had let that other guy go. They didn't tell anybody. And so I show up, and they said, they played my music for my show. And so I turn on the microphone, and what do you do? I just went, hi, I said, my name is Pudge. As you can tell, your former host is not here anymore, but I am. So just want to let you know, I'm a yellow belly liberal Democrat. Been a union man since August 3rd, 1981. And I'm Mexican. And how about them Spurs, huh? Because it was a sports station. So I figured let's just, get into it, right? Phone lines lit up. Woo! Just all the, the flashing of the lights. And also, you're able to text my show. You're not going to last, this is going to be your one and only show. You're not going to last a day. You're not going to last a week. You're not going to last an hour. Why don't you go back where you came from? I went, San Antonio? Okay, yeah. This is my fun one. Hope you die of AIDS. Oh, yeah, that was a good one. That's an oldie but goodie. In fact, the guy even said, I hope you and your daughter die of AIDS. That's what he said. I ended up bumping into that guy like months later, just so we can put a bow on it. He did come up and apologize to me. I didn't even know he was the one who had said it. I was at a guitar store of all things. And the guy walked up to me and he says, hey, you remember that time when somebody told you that you and your daughter need to die of AIDS? I go, I was there buying like equipment for my guitar. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, yeah, that was me. I was like, okay. He goes, well, I'm thrilled, and he apologized. Okay. I'd love to say that he's the first one to say some fun stuff to me while I'm on the radio. He's not. I get it every single day. Because I made choices in my life, going all the way back to that 7-year-old kid. And that 7-year-old kid said that if I ever had a chance to be the guy in the box, it would be me. It would be Michael. My influences were Casey Kasem and Dick Clark, and some of the local guys like Bruce Hathaway, and Bill Vesey when he was starting out in his radio career. And so I would emulate them, but make it my own little spin to it. And so I could have easily adapted to what that guy that I was replacing, what he was doing, and I could have changed who I was to fit into that. But I've never made it easy for myself, just like you and I. You do the same. If life was easy, we'd all be happy. But that's the point. Isn't that the point of life? When I told you my mother passed away in 2007, and that was the aha moment. When my mother passed away, she was very young. She was 60. And she wasn't supposed to die. That wasn't supposed to happen. So I was very angry because this woman she was an angel. Everybody says that about their mother, but this woman was genuinely an angel. When she got up to heaven, St. Peter was like, chillax, just come on in. He didn't even have the clipboard in his hand with her. So I was very angry, and so I became very angry with God. And I fired him. I mean, we followed the rules. I went to church every Sunday. Went to catechism, Holy Communion, did the sign of the cross, made sure I did it the correct way with the correct hand. When I took communion, I made sure I didn't chew the wafer. You're supposed to just let it dissolve. Otherwise, you were chewing God. That's what your mother would tell you. Yeah. I followed the rules, and I know my mother, that woman, she follows some rules. I mean, she's taken out at 60. Meanwhile, I knew there were some jerks walking around that wanted me to die of AIDS, other people that want to be king. And they get to walk around, not following any rules, not following, they want to turn a classroom into a place of worship and put the 10 rules there. I figured when I showed up this morning, I was going to put up lesson plans up here. We'll just turn this room into a classroom. That way they can continue with their room of worship. And so I was just kind of like, that's not fair. You're fired. I followed your rules and you let me down, dude. You're out of here. And so, like most Catholic homes, my father, he had an unopened, unsealed, or actually sealed Bible in his office that he had gotten at a retreat. Never been cracked open. And one day I walked by and I said, hey, Dad, you mind if I take a look at your Bible? He's like, no, go right ahead. Cool. So I went, I looked, and I read it cover to cover. It took me 10 years to read it. Because I didn't just read it, like surface. I mean, I read it. And when I was done reading it, I was like, okay, what did I just read? What was the point of the whole book? And what I learned was that the whole book is about love. Plain and simple. It's a real simple book. People try to make it all complicated and 3-hour movies and, they want to go and, do all, everybody has their agenda. But if you just look at the book and read it, you realize it's just a book about love. So I was like, okay, that's simple. Well, what makes you feel it? What makes you, where does love come from? And I realized it was happiness. Happiness is what brings love. When you're happy, you have the energy to want to give that happiness with somebody else. You want to share it with somebody else. And when you share that happiness with them, there's that love that takes place. And so I was like, all right. So I started working on that. I figured, let's start from that point. So I started doing renegotiations with upper management to see if I wanted to hire him back or not. And so, I had a lot of conversations with him, with God. And I told him it wasn't cool what he did, but I'm willing to listen. And he says, well, son, you're going to have to change. I was like, whoa, what do you mean I got to change? I'm perfect the way I am. I don't need to change. You need to change. You're the one that took out the lady that was perfect. And he's like, no, it's not me, it's you. You need to change. So I thought about it. When I got an offer to work in Austin, in the old days of radio, you never used your real name. Because what will happen is the whack-a-noodles will show up at your front door, because back in those days we had phone books where it had your name. It had your name, it had your address, had your phone number. So, so you'd be there minding your own business, watching the Flintstones, and all of a sudden, you're like, well, it's a listener, and you're like, whoa, so you wouldn't use your real name. So when I went up to Austin, my mother was still alive, and she told me, Michael, you need to be careful, because they don't like Mexicans up there. I was like, really? I'd grown up in San Antonio. I was like, I never heard of that. She's like, oh, you need to be careful. So me being me, I was like, I ain't changing. That was before she passed. And so I grew a brain and said, you know what, when I go on the air, I'm going to be Mike Sanchez. Because that's my mother's maiden name. That made sense, right? Sanchez, I'm brown, Mexican. This will work. So I go to work there, and they already had my business cards printed. I'm like, hey, man. So I open them up, and it says Mike Allen. I go, Mike Allen? Who's Mike Allen? And they go, "You're Mike Allen." I go, "I'm not Mike Allen. I'm Mike Sanchez. In fact, I'm not even Mike Sanchez. I'm Boo Boo." And they're like, "No, you're Mike Allen." I was like, "Huh. All right." So I started being Mike Allen on the radio. I did a live broadcast on the north side of Austin. It's the rich side. This good old boy, big fella, about 6'12", 500 pounds, belt buckle about the size of a 72 Chevy Impala. He walks up, pulls up, and, "Hey, you there, fella? Can you tell me where I can find this Mike Allen?" I said, "I'm Mike Allen." "You don't look like a Mike Allen." I said, "Well, it's funny because I don't feel like him either." I said, "They wouldn't let me be Mike Sanchez, much less Boo Boo or nothing, you know. So I'm Mike Allen." That was the last time I ever let that happen. My entire career, I've had to change to fit the room. I'm having to do that right now. You guys have been kind enough to invite me into your room this morning. I've never been in your room before. I didn't know what I was walking into. So you adapt, you adjust. Right now, we find our country, we find our home, we find our neighborhood in a situation where there's camps. And we desperately want the other camp to join our camp. It's amazing. You know, the other camp thinks that you're evil just as much as you think that their camp is evil. Everybody's thinking they're evil. This goes all the way back to the dawn of man. You know, God and the devil are two angels, and they didn't get along. They still don't. They're in two separate camps. And one guy thinks the other guy is evil, while the other guy thinks the other guy is evil. So it goes all the way back to the beginning. This ain't new. But here's what's happened, is that somewhere along the way, you have to read the room. Know where you are. Adapt. Adjust. Realize you're on the north side of Austin. Maybe you can't be Mike Sanchez at that moment. Maybe it's, you know, when you're standing there on Shoreline yesterday and you're waving your sign, do you really think by waving the sign you're going to change the guy in the car's mind to go, "Now I get it. Okay, you know what? I changed." No, just as much as the guy I counted. I would count thousands of honking of horns, and I counted 3 people with a middle finger. That was pretty much it, is what I counted yesterday. And the people with the middle finger thought that by showing me the middle finger, I was going to change. It's like, oh, now I get it. Just as much as we thought our signs were going to get those 3 people with the middle finger, they were going to change. No, it's all about adaptation. It's all about adjustments. It's all about reading the room. First thing I noticed when I walked in here was the music, which, warms my heart, because I'm all about the music. I've had to be Mike Sanchez, Mike Allen, Boo Boo, Pudge. I've never been able to be Michael Aradillas, the little 7-year-old that just wanted to be the guy in the box. You know, my job every morning is to wake you up. That's my job. I get up real super early in the morning, and which, you know, in light of what happened to me with my health, it's the strangest things that'll keep you going. And so people have come up to me, my friends and family have come up to me asking, "Hey, are you know, how are you with the show? And are you still going to do it?" I'm like, dude, if it wasn't for the show, I'd be dead right now. That show is what's keeping me alive right now. Gives me a reason to wake up, gives me a reason to exist, gives me a reason to do anything. In my industry, there's a lot of people, they think it's cool to wake you up in a bad mood. I've never understood that. I prefer to wake people up in a good mood, laughing, telling jokes. My show is 4 hours of improvisation. I don't have a script, just like I don't have one right now. I have ideas in my head. Freaks out the girlfriend because she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm thinking about tomorrow's show. And it's all in my head. When I wake up in the morning, I want to wake up laughing and smiling, not being angry and grinding and gritting my teeth, ready to just take out the guy with the middle finger. No, what good does that do? That's not what that book taught me. The book taught me about love. So when I was given the opportunity to buy the radio station and really upset a lot of people, I took that moment and said, well, here's another opportunity to not just read the room, but how about we create the room? How about we change the room a little bit with our own behavior? And so every day, people are calling my show all the time, filled with hatred and vitriol and so forth. And it's just because we all have it. I live in a cul-de-sac. I got 7 Trumpers and me. I'm not kidding. It's hilarious because right now they're all home, unemployed. I'm the only one working. I'm the only one working. And they all give me the stink eye like I'm the jerk. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm the one who decided not to work for the government, dude. So, I adapted. I adjusted. Now, I could walk around my cul-de-sac and laugh at all of them and go, ha, 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 ha. Is that going to change the room? Is that going to make me a better neighbor? Is that going to fill my cul-de-sac with love? No. But instead, I've read my cul-de-sac. I've read the room. I've read the street. And like upper management told me, I'm the one who needed to change. So I have. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden now I'm going to think like they think. It's just the approach. Tomorrow morning, the beautiful thing as I wrap this up, the beautiful thing about life is that every day you get to start all over again. You start out your day like, I'm going to go 100% and I'm going to be perfect. I'm going to be great. And then about halfway through, you manage to screw it up and you're like, ugh. And by the end of the day, oh man, it's horrible. You ruined it. You go to bed and you're like, man, what a suck day that was. Well, the cool thing, if God allows you, gives you permission, he'll let you wake up the next morning and have another shot at it. Give it another chance. Give you another chance to adapt, adjust, and change. So, here's an idea for all of us to ponder for tomorrow morning when we get another chance. Is the guy that just infuriates us, freak him out and smile. Just smile at him. Don't give him your, what MSNBC told you to say yet last night. Because he's waiting for that. And it's not going to change him. It's not going to change you. Whatever Fox told him to say and he comes and tells you, it's not going to change you. No, this is a one-on-one. Just like that little boy in the radio box. He wants to have a conversation with you. Make the most of that conversation. And the best way you can start a conversation is know the room. Know who you're talking to. Excuse me. And be willing to change. Put that hubris aside. Be willing to change so that way you can have a conversation with them. As I leave this podium, first of all, thank you so much for giving me these few moments to chat with you this morning. I've had a lifetime of having to change. I've had to change. I've had to read many rooms so that I could be able to do this. I mean, hello, you heard my voice. Do I sound like these? No. I had to adjust. I had to adapt. When my parents moved us to the north side of San Antonio, all my relatives, they all sounded like these. They wanted to go to Churches Fried Chicken. They want to go to HEB. And then I moved to the north side of San Antonio, and all of a sudden I sounded like Brian Gumbel. it gave me a career. See, because that housewife up in the north side of Austin, she had no clue that Pudge was Mexican. She would have known Mike Sanchez was Mexican. She would not have known Pudge was Mexican. You adapt, you adjust, so you can make a friend. And when you make a friend, you become happy. And when you become happy, the room fills with love. Thank you very much for your time. Y'all have a blessed day.
Thanks, Pudge. Now is the time we participate in the financial care of our church community by giving and receiving the offering. If you're contributing to your pledge today, please be sure to write pledge on your check or cash envelope. When the music begins, the ushers will offer you a basket for your offering. Alternatively, you can't use the QR code because we don't have it on screen, so scratch that. Your offering, no matter how you make it, will be gratefully received. Please remain seated after the music is over for the closing of our service.
Oh yeah. Still don't know what I was waiting for, and my time was running wild, a million dead-end streets, and every time I thought I'd got it made, it seems the taste was not so sweet. So I turned myself to face me, but I've never caught a glimpse of how the others must see the faker. I'm much too fast to take that test. Turn and face the strain. Don't wanna be a richer man. Turn and face the strain. It's gonna have to be a different man. Time may change me, but I can't trace time. I watch the ripples change their size, but never leave the stream of warm impermanence, and so the days flow through my eyes, but still the days seem the same. And these children that you spit on as they try to change their world are immune to your consultations. They're quite aware of what they're going through. Turn and face the strain. Don't tell them to grow up and out of it. Turn and face the strain. Where's your shame? You've left us up to our necks in it. Time may change me, but you can't trace time. Strange fascination fascinating me. Our changes are taking the pace I'm going through. Turn and face the strain. Look out, you rock and rollers. Turn and face the strain. Pretty soon now, you're gonna get older. Time may change me, but I can't trace time. I said that time may change me, but I can't trace time.
If you are who you were, and if the person next to you is who he or she was, if none of us has changed since the day we came in here, we have failed. The purpose of this community, of any church, temple, zendo, mosque, is to help people grow. We do this through encounters with the unknown, in ourselves, in one another, in the other, whoever that might be for us, however hard that might be, because these encounters have many gifts to offer. So may you go forth from here this morning, not who you were, but who you could be. So may we all. By Eric Walter Wickstrom. Until next time, friends, stay safe and love each other.
Strange fascination fascinating me. Changes are taking the pace I'm going through.
Changes.
Turn and face the strange.
Changes.
Ooh, look out, you rock and rollers.
Changes.
Turn and face the strange.
Changes.
Pretty soon now, you're gonna get older. Time may change me, but I can't trace time. I said that time may change me.